Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Vaibhav Jyotsna Srivastav, and with me is Abhineet Shukla, bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment, and more. The headlines. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to deliver a State of the World special address at World Economic Forum's Davos agenda on Monday. India marks 1 year of its nationwide vaccination drive against COVID-19, over 1.57 billion doses administered so far. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal says India on way to achieve merchandise exports of $400 billion and services exports of $250 billion this year. Hostage crisis in a synagogue at Colleyville in Texas ends safely. U.S. President Joe Biden vows to do everything to prevent rise of extremism. Tsunami threat recedes around the Pacific from a huge undersea volcanic eruption in Tonga. In badminton, Lakshya Sen clinches men's singles title of India Open. Pair of Satvik Sairaj, Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty lifts men's doubles trophy. And tennis star Novak Djokovic deported from Australia after losing legal battle to stay in the country. Australian Open to begin on Monday. As the number of COVID-19 cases are rising fast in several parts of the country, we appeal to our listeners to be vigilant and get fully vaccinated and help others, including children between 15 and 18 years, to get vaccinated. As the new Omicron variant of coronavirus is causing concern, please continue to follow the 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. And now, the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will deliver the State of the World special address at the World Economic Forum's Davos agenda on Monday at 8:30 p.m. Indian time through video conferencing. The virtual event will be held from the 17th to the 21st of January. It will also be addressed by several heads of state, including Prime Minister of Japan Fumio Kishida, President of European Commission Ursula von der Leyen, Prime Minister of Australia Scott Morrison, Prime Minister of Israel Naftali Bennett, and President of China Xi Jinping, among others. The event will also witness participation of top industry leaders, international organizations and civil society, who will deliberate on critical challenges being faced by the world today and discuss how to address them. India on Sunday marked the first anniversary of the launch of the nationwide vaccination drive against COVID-19. The country has successfully administered over 1.57 billion doses of vaccine. The drive was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the 16th of January last year. This is the world's largest vaccination program, covering the entire length and breadth of the country. Vaccination was made free for everyone above 18 years of age on the 21st of June 2021. The current vaccine production capacity of Covishield in India is approximately 250 million doses per month, and that of Covaxin is around 60 million doses per month. The Prime Minister on Sunday saluted each and every individual who is associated with the COVID-19 vaccination on completion of 1 year of the drive. In a series of tweets, Mr. Modi said, the country's vaccination program has added great strength to the fight against COVID-19. He said the exercise has led to saving lives and thus protecting livelihoods. He also urged people to keep following all COVID-19 related protocols and overcome the pandemic. Home Minister Amit Shah, in a tweet, complimented Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the successful completion of 1 year of the country's vaccination drive. Health Minister Dr Mansukh Mandavia released a commemorative postal stamp on COVID-19 vaccine to mark the first anniversary of India's national COVID-19 vaccination program. Speaking on the occasion, Dr Mandavia said, the day is an important day for everyone as the country has completed 1 year of the vaccination drive. The minister said, the world is amazed by India's vaccination drive. He said 93% of people above 18 years are vaccinated with the first dose and 70% of the population is fully vaccinated. Dr. Mandavia highlighted that India's vaccination program is a story of unparalleled journey of the country.
In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a discussion on moving towards a COVID-safe and protected nation, 1 year of COVID vaccination in India. Dr. NK Arora, Chairman of the National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization, is in conversation with Anand Srivastav, AIR correspondent.
COVID vaccination drive has completed 1 year in India. Dr. Arora, how do you see this historic journey?
It's a matter of great pride. It is demonstration of self-reliant or Atmanirbhar Bharat. It also demonstrates how when a country decides, when a society decides, scientists, industrialists, health workers, doctors and communities can come together and achieve what was considered almost impossible when the whole campaign started on 16th January last year. In fact, initially when the vaccination program was launched on 16th January and the target was kept that the first priority of frontline workers and elderly and those with comorbidities, we should be able to complete them. 50 crore doses should be completed by July, August. Nobody believed it because there was shortage of vaccines. But we did it. By August 5, India was able to administer 50 crore doses. And thereafter, it's a journey to reckon with. And as we have moved further, the initial hesitation, initial concerns about safety of the vaccines were all removed because of a very proactive social mobilization campaign, and we have continued to achieve one milestone after another one. And the country has shown that it can deliver over 10 million doses on a single day on several occasions. And on 17th September, we were able to deliver 2.5 crore doses. These are not mean achievements. And the most important is every dose which has been administered in this country has been manufactured in India, completely Swadeshi. But having said that, a great credit goes to, on one side, our frontline workers, but equally important, the eagerness and the enthused community participation in this program. Adults were being immunized or given vaccines for the first time, and they have come forward to receive it. So all in all, it has been an unprecedented journey, which many across the world felt we will never be able to achieve. Thank you very much, India. We are really proud.
Reaching to 150 crore doses was one of the biggest challenge, but now we have reached this milestone. What are your opinion in the efforts made in completing 150 crore doses?
India is a country with wide variations in terms of geographical access, cultural access, and societal access. And this was on the background of initial limited availability of vaccines. But we have used our past experience with Pulse Polio program, where we were able to deliver 17 crore doses in a single week. All children below 5 years were immunized in 1 week. We have also the experience of immunizing almost 42 crore children with measles and rubella vaccine. That was MR campaign. So all these, a very firm background of pediatric immunization was available in the experience. But the adult immunization was being done for the first time. The backbone of pediatric immunization centers and the network was used. And to reach 150 crores, special efforts were made. House-to-house immunization, which we learned from polio, was converted as Har Ghar Dastak Karyakram for adults. To reach remote areas like Arunachal Pradesh or difficult areas in Chhattisgarh and other difficult areas, drones were used. Technology was used to get the vaccine at the right time. And so all in all, while this has not been a smooth journey, but every obstacle was taken as an opportunity, and we reached this 150 crore milestone.
Dr. Arora, you talked about technologies. COVID and Arogya Setu has made very important role to achieve 150 crore doses. What do you want to say regarding these two technology apps?
Right in the beginning, it was clear in the mind of everybody that if all adults have to be immunized, there has to be a mechanism to keep track of every individual who receives the vaccine. And particularly, it is not the COVID vaccine was not a single dose vaccine, 2 doses. So we have to ensure that everybody get a vaccine and then pursue to get the second vaccine. Second challenge was that if an individual is given one type of vaccine, the same vaccine is to be given as second dose. So this whole tracking mechanism required very meticulous planning, and obviously this could have been done just mechanically. And the country started working on developing a IT platform, and this began right in the early part. Somewhere in last 2020, May, June, this platform, people started working on the platform. And basically, CoWIN platform has come in on a vaccine management platform called EVIN, and where beneficiary components have been added. And today, CoWIN is considered one of the finest IT platform for managing adult immunization or COVID vaccination program. And Arogya Setu has been another dimension where individuals were able to find out the overall risk to them if during this whole pandemic, if they are surrounded or if there is a nearby individual with or without COVID. So these two have been novelties and great innovations, and I'm sure many of our future public health programs can be built on the experience of these two IT platforms.
The vaccination drive for children has started now. How big challenge is this, Dr. Arora?
The whole approach for pediatric immunization has been prioritization. We know that children generally are less affected by COVID as compared to adults. But within children, a prioritization is there that 15 to 17-year-old children behave more like adults. The risk of severe disease, risk of death is maximum as compared to rest of the pediatric age group. That means less than 15 years. And that's why the decision was to start the pediatric immunization on 3rd January. And it's a matter of great pride. The kind of enthusiasm and eagerness shown by both parents as well as children. And within this last 13 days or 2 weeks, one should say, India, 3.4 crore children out of total of 7.4 crore children in this age group have already received the vaccine. And I think one of the major factors has been the parents themselves are convinced about the safety and efficacy of this vaccine. And that's why children, and they have been able to encourage their children. So my all thanks and appreciation for these parents. Here I must also say that very soon, once this 15 to 17-year-old immunization is complete, let's say in about next 5 or 6 weeks, then we will gradually go down, and next age band will be 12 to 15 years where vaccination will be given.
Dr. Arora, what is the target of the government in the upcoming times of COVID vaccination drive?
Our children are our most important asset and wealth, and they are our future. So in a graded manner, we will gradually go down the age group and try to immunize most of the children. And starting, as I just said, that starting March, we should be able to start the vaccination for 12 to 15 years. Here I must say that several new vaccines beyond Covaxin are also coming in the market for children. So that means Zycobi-D, Corbavax, Covavax, and our own Indian mRNA vaccine. These are all being evaluated in children, and they will be available. So there is going to be no shortage of vaccines for our 44 crore children, and we should be able to immunize all of them. The second issue is that the whole concept thinking behind immunizing the adult population with so-called additional doses is undergoing rapid thinking and intense discussion. And there are also efforts that variant specific, for example, Omicron specific vaccines are under manufacture preparation in the laboratory at the moment, and very soon we may have new forms of vaccines available for our adult population.
Dr. Arora, in last, what do you want to give messages to those countrymen who have not vaccinated so far?
About 6 to 7 crore individuals are still left who have not received a single vaccine. And a large proportion of this includes those pregnant women or young women who are likely to become pregnant soon. And there is a feeling that during pregnancy, no vaccination should be given. So I would like to assure their families, their husbands, and the pregnant women themselves that these vaccines are absolutely safe. Whatever experience we have, this shows that vaccine is completely safe. And unfortunately, during pregnancy, if somebody gets COVID infection, this is likely to be severe, and it also adversely affects the outcome of the fetus growing in the pregnant mother. And therefore, my request that they should come forward and get themselves vaccinated.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said that information technology industry can play a key role in raising services exports to $1 trillion per year in a decade. In the virtual meeting with the leaders of IT sector, Mr. Goyal said, IT industry can become a bigger global player by focusing on new technologies. He said, government will provide all help to IT firms to boost exports. The minister said, India was on track to achieve its merchandise exports target of $400 billion this year, while services exports were likely to be about $250 billion. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
Indian Navy and Russian Federation Navy conducted a passing exercise in the Arabian Sea. Indian Navy's indigenously designed and built guided missile destroyer INS Kochi and Russian Federation Navy's destroyer Admiral Trebuch were involved in the exercise that showcased cohesiveness and interoperability. Spokesperson of the Indian Navy in a tweet said that the exercise showcased cohesiveness and interoperability between the two navies. The Ministry of Defense in Russia tweeted that Indian Navy's exercises with Admiral Trebuch in Arabian Sea is a continuation of growing Indo-Russian strategic cooperation as envisaged during Russian President Putin's visit to India last December. The U.S. Embassy in Dhaka donated 9.6 million doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine to Bangladesh on Saturday. Announcing this on social media, the U.S. ambassador to Bangladesh, Earl Miller, said that the vaccine has been donated to Bangladesh for the nationwide vaccination program. With this, the U.S. has donated over 28 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine to Bangladesh. Ambassador Miller said that millions more are on the way and the U.S. will continue to stand with Bangladesh in the fight against COVID-19. The delivery of Pfizer vaccines is part of the United States' commitment to lead the global COVID-19 response by donating 1 billion doses of vaccines around the world through 2022, said the U.S. Embassy press release.
In Afghanistan, ATM services have been resumed in several provinces for the first time since the Taliban took control of the country in August, reported local media. The reactivation of the ATM machines would further facilitate the banking system, said DA Afghanistan Bank, the country's central bank. Tolo News quoted Sabir Momand, a spokesman of the bank, saying as the DA Afghanistan Bank has been making serious efforts to bring the banking system to a normal level and reactivation of ATMs was part of those efforts. People in Afghanistan have been facing difficulties in withdrawing money from banks as ATMs were closed after the Taliban took control of the country. ATMs of commercial banks have been made available in specific areas to facilitate people. In Kazakhstan, it is officially announced that 225 people were killed in the unrest last week that included 19 members of the security forces. Head of Prosecutor's Office, Sadiq Shalabayev, informed this in a press briefing on Saturday. He added that the figure included civilians and armed bandits killed by security forces. The deadliest violent protests in the oil-producing Central Asian state began this month after a jump in car fuel prices. He said 50,000 strong crowds rioted throughout the former Soviet Republic and torched government buildings, cars, banks and shops in several major cities.
The hostage crisis at a U.S. synagogue has finally ended and 4 persons, including synagogue's rabbi, have been freed safely at Colleyville in Texas. Texas Governor Greg Abbott in a tweet said, "Prayers answered and all hostages are out alive and safe." They were rescued after a 10-hour operation. They were taken hostage during a morning service on Saturday. Police deployed special weapons team while FBI negotiators spent hours talking to the assailant. Collywell Police Chief Michael Miller said during a press conference that the suspect is deceased. The hostage taker was heard demanding the release of Afia Siddiqui, a Pakistani neuroscientist who is currently serving an 86-year prison term in the US, law enforcement officials told local media. Siddiqui was convicted of trying to kill US military officers while in custody in Afghanistan. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden has condemned anti-Semitism after several people were taken hostage at a synagogue and pledged to do everything to prevent the rise of extremism in the country. President Biden said in a White House statement on Sunday that they will stand against anti-Semitism and against the rise of extremism in his country. He noted that the law enforcement officers had acted cooperatively and fearlessly to rescue the hostages and thanked them for their tireless work. The tsunami threat around the Pacific from a huge undersea volcanic eruption has receded, but a massive ash cloud covering the tiny island nation of Tonga on Sunday prevented surveillance flights from New Zealand from assessing the extent of damage. Satellite images showed the spectacular eruption of the Tonga Ha'apai volcano that took place on Saturday. In Tonga, it sent tsunami waves crashing across the shore and people rushing to higher ground. Internet and phone lines went down, making the island's 105,000 residents almost entirely unreachable. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said there had not been any official reports of injuries or deaths in Tonga, but cautioned that authorities had not yet made contact with some coastal areas and smaller islands. Aid agencies said thick ash and smoke had prompted authorities to ask people to wear masks and drink bottled water. Japan's meteorological agency has lifted all tsunami warnings and advisories that were issued following Saturday's massive volcanic eruption in Tonga.
Tesla has moved to Mozambique for a key component in its electric car batteries. Analysts believe this is a first-of-its-kind deal designed to reduce its dependence on China for graphite. Elon Musk's company signed an agreement last month with Australia's Sierra Resources, which operates one of the world's largest graphite mines in the southern African country. It's a unique partnership between an electric vehicle manufacturer and a producer of the mineral that is critical for lithium-ion batteries. The value of the deal hasn't been released. Tesla will buy the material from the company's processing plant in Vidalia, Louisiana, which sources graphite from its mine in Balama, Mozambique. The Austin, Texas-based electric automaker plans to buy up 80% of what the plant produces, 8,000 tons of graphite per year, starting in 2025, according to the agreement. The deal is part of Tesla's plan to ramp up its capacity to make its own batteries so it can reduce its dependence on China, which dominates global graphite markets, said Simon Moose of United Kingdom-based battery materials data and intelligence provider Benchmark Mineral Intelligence. India is ready to partner in all aspects of the film industry in Bangladesh, including through capacity building support for everything from script writing to editing to special effects to cinematography. High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh Vikram Doraiswamy said this while speaking as a special guest during the inaugural function of the 20th Dhaka International Film Festival DIFF on Saturday. He urged the Bangladeshi authorities to consider India's standing request to permit the commercial screening of Indian films in theatres in Bangladesh, pointing out that the shared artistic sensibilities and the long history of cooperation between the film fraternity of the two countries. High Commissioner Doraiswamy said that allowing more releases on a commercial basis will help develop film industries in both the countries from the artistic standpoint as well as through increased inflows of investment in the sector. He expressed hope that in the coming months, just as people visit each other's countries, the films of the two countries should also start visiting each other's theatres as well. Referring to the Bangladesh-India joint production of the film on Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman being directed by Shyam Benegal, the High Commissioner said that it will be a production not just for each other, but for the world.
And now moving on to sports, it proved to be a blockbuster Sunday for the Indians in badminton arena after Lakshya Sen in men's single and the pair of Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty in doubles lifted the Indian Open titles in New Delhi. World Championship bronze medalist Lakshya defeated reigning world champion Low Kian Yu of Singapore 24-22, 21-17 in the summit clash. Earlier, India's top-ranked men's doubles pair of Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty beat the top-seeded Indonesian pair of Mohammad Ehsan and Heinzer Setyavan 21-16, 26-24 in the final in 43 minutes. Tennis star Novak Djokovic was deported from Australia on Sunday after losing a last-ditch bid to stay in the country when its court upheld a government deportation order. Judges rejected a challenge launched by the unvaccinated tennis player after the government cancelled his visa on health and good order grounds. The world number one lost his chance of defending his Australian Open title and winning a record 21st Grand Slam in Melbourne. Djokovic is being replaced by little-known Italian Salvatore Caruso, who ranks number 150 in the world in Monday's match with Serbian Miomir Kemanovic in men's singles. Early in the day, 3 federal court judges sided with Immigration Minister Alex Hawke's decision made on Friday to cancel Djokovic's visa on public interest grounds. Djokovic, in a statement, has said that he was disappointed over the Australian Federal Court's rejection of his deportation appeal. Djokovic's visa was cancelled after arriving in Australia as he has not been vaccinated against coronavirus.
Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Wall Street Journal headlines reads, India sells anti-ship missiles to the Philippines as concern over China grows. It adds that the deal comes as New Delhi boosts defense ties with the US and its allies in response to China's expanding military muscle. The New York Times reports that Microsoft has warned that it has detected malware waiting to be unleashed in government and private computer networks in Ukraine. Washington Post notes that a powerful, messy winter storm is charging up the East Coast. Financial Times reports that China's battle to contain the Omicron coronavirus variant risks choking already stretched global supply chains. Manufacturing managers and analysts have warned, threatening production of goods ranging from smartphones to furniture. South China Morning Post reports that the northern city of Tianjin and Chinese capital Beijing are battling to contain the spread of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 and bring it under control ahead of the Lunar New Year holiday and start of the Winter Olympics. Epoch Times reports that U.S. State Department voiced concerns on January 13th over the Chinese regime's demolition of Buddha statues and other actions against Tibetan Buddhists. The statement comes days after reports that a 30-foot tall Buddha statue was destroyed in western China, making the second being target in recent weeks. Last December, monks and Tibetans living nearby were forced to witness a 99-foot tall bronze statue they revered being torn down. The Globe and Mail says Serbia votes in referendum on constitutional changes to advance EU membership bid. The biggest book fair of Bangladesh, Ekoshe Boy Mela, has been postponed by 2 more weeks, reports Business Standard. It was scheduled to begin from February the 1st. Last year also, the book fair was postponed till March 18th from its usual opening of February the 1st. The book fair is arranged every year in February, commemorating the sacrifices of those who laid down their lives on 21st February 1952 for establishing Bangla as the mother tongue.
And now a quick look at the headlines once again. India marks 1 year of its nationwide vaccination drive against COVID-19. Over 1.57 billion doses administered so far. Prime Minister to deliver State of the World special address at World Economic Forum's Davos agenda on Monday. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal says India on way to achieve merchandise exports of $400 billion and service exports of $250 billion this year. Hostage crisis in a synagogue at Colleyville in Texas ends safely. US President Joe Biden vows to do everything to prevent rise of extremism. Tsunami threat recedes around the Pacific from a huge undersea volcanic eruption in Tonga. In badminton, Lakshya Sen clinches men's singles title of India Open. Pair of Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty lift men's doubles trophy. And tennis star Novak Djokovic deported from Australia after losing legal battle to stay in the country. Australian Open to begin on Monday. And now before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favourite bhajan, Vaishnav Jan, by artists from Belgium. And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.